I didn't want to get too deep into some of the news because that tends to get to a more serious, dark place, and I'd really rather focus on the fact that we're here, we're having fun, and it's great, and all that stuff. So I did come across a video this morning from CNN that talks about apparently there's been a group of researchers who've been involved in this whole mapping the known, stellar neighborhood, as it were, about 1,000 light years out. A lot of this has to do with some of the new tech they've got up there, like the JWST and that sort of thing. And apparently they think that they've found a number of potentially huge constructed things out there that they're referring to as Dyson spheres.
Can I take a swing at this right quick?
Sure.
It ruined everyone's day. So if you look at the data that's involved in how they crunch the numbers on this, it has to do with apparent luminosity in reference to the location of where we are. So when you're trying to track the number of planets on a star, say, what you do is you film the star for the course of a couple of months or maybe a couple of years, and over that time the planets transit the stars, and you measure the apparent luminosity of that star, and it can tell you how large the body is between you and it. Right? Fairly basic math. I mean, yeah, it's astronomical, but it's relatively basic. These Dyson sphere calculations also coincide with things like a certain density of gas clouds, high density asteroid fields or belts, rings perhaps that aren't luminous for us to see here, but it simply interferes with the light. And the reason they're saying they're Dyson spheres is because the light is being interfered so regularly that it seems artificial. But it wouldn't necessarily have to be artificial if hypothetically a star was surrounded by a bunch of ferrous material. Then all of the ferrous material would be magnetized, and you would essentially have a naturally occurring Dyson sphere type signature. But what do I know? I'm just a Sasquatch.
Well, yeah, and that brings one of the points that actually I think they brought up in the video is the likelihood of these being actual like alien constructions is very, very low. I mean, given that in any given species, it reaches a certain level of technological and sociological progression, tends to implode. Kind of like we're seeing ourselves do now, and we're nowhere near creating something like that, And for those who don't know, a Dyson sphere is essentially an energy harnessing mechanism that's built many, 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 many times the size of the star that it surrounds. It's sort of like the greatest solar powered generator ever. They're theoretical as far as we know.
Yeah, this is just half of what Sasquatch said. Yep. I'm but a humble Marine. I don't know half of what you said, but it sounds, I liked it. Well, I recognize words in it.
That's why I forgot to say this at the top of the show. We usually do cover this part of it. This is Screaming into the Void. This is the show where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like, and occasionally it's pretty esoteric stuff like this.
Okay, so in my head, I'm thinking this is like watching like a Star Wars movie or any of those space out there movies. It's just fascinating, but I have no idea what they're saying.
How I felt.
Fair enough. Well, that's the thing, is Dyson spheres only exist in science fiction, so it'd be very surprising if there was any truth to what they were saying. If they're saying like, oh shit, we found somebody out there is building these things, right? Which implies that there is a civilization of some kind out in the void that has surpassed our level of civilization.
Yeah, but I have an issue with us witnessing them build it. What are the chances, the odds, the long odds that we would happen to be at a location in our technology capable of observing the construction of a Dyson sphere that was built 70,000 years ago, 70,000 light years away? 70,000 light years away. on another star, which means not only have they completed that project, but they probably noticed us. That's not good.
See, and I think of like Stargate for stuff like this, because that's my.
I hear what you're saying, but there is zero evidence for faster than light anything.
Yeah.
Is it perhaps a perceptual issue that we have, or is our measurements incapable of measuring above that point because we don't have a starting point with which to do it, a reference as it were, and therefore light speed is the limit? When we reach light speed, do we witness more of the universe from the perspective of light speed because we're now in a different reference point from the speed of light? These are the questions that keep Sasquatch up at night. Aren't we in the void? Isn't this the place we can bring these things?
See, I just sleep at night.